Hello, welcome to the ROI of Peace podcast. I'm so excited you're here. I'm so excited we get to dive into this beautiful conversation with Ardra Shephard. So this summer, we have beautiful summers in Texas. They do get really hot though, because this is what's happening. But we get great winters, so it's kind of worth it, I feel like. So this summer, I typically will, go to the gym and I'll lift some weights and I'll walk and stuff like that. It's part of the protocols that my neurologist wants me to do. And I thought, I kind of want to change up what I do. And our outdoor pool at the gym opened and it's gorgeous. It's outside. It's so peaceful, out there. And so I thought, it would be fun to swim laps. Now, before, about 10, 12 years ago, I did some triathlons and I absolutely loved it. I loved because you swim, you bike, and you run. And I did sprints. So it wasn't long distances and stuff like that. Now, if I think about it, I'm like, oh my gosh, how did I even do that? And so I've done swimming. I've trained for swimming, but it's been a long time. And I just remember how much I loved the swim portion of the triathlons and training for the swim because you're in water. It just feels so good. And it's kind of this meditative state I think about. And so I have been swimming laps, once a week. I'll swim laps. And so I've been really loving it. It's just so nice on my body. It's not hard to, and I feel supported in the water and it's cooling and all these things. And so I was telling Scott about this. What's so cool about swimming is that it's not in order to go faster, you're not pushing more. You're actually learning to be more efficient in the pull. And so when you extend your arm out, you want to enter the water in a certain way. You want to keep this high elbow so that you're getting your forearm and your arm at a certain point in the water are pulling back the water. You're working with the water in order to move forward in a faster, efficient way. So it's not about in running, you're just run faster. I mean, there is some technique, but swimming, it's very technical. And I absolutely love it. Last night I was watching some YouTube swimming technique videos. And it was so amazing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to be awesome. Next time I go swimming, this is what I'm going to do. What I'm going to focus in on is being more efficient in the water. And it's the same thing when we are in a dark, challenging place in our lives. Ardra and I talk about MS. She was diagnosed when she was 23. And we talk about these dark, overwhelming times and how our human nature is to push harder, to go faster, to be a warrior, to not ask for help, to go all these things. But when in actual, what can come from these dark times is these moments of light, these creations of connections with others, slowing down in order to really listen to our body, helping us to see that what we thought was our future journey, it's okay to grieve that, but what's ahead of us is amazing. And we don't have to keep pushing through and muscling through our lives, that we can sit and listen and grieve and feel all those feelings. And so I'm so excited for you to meet Ardra Shephard. She is a change maker with a sharp pen and a killer wardrobe who has turned MS into a megaphone. She's a creator and the host of AMI TV's award-winning lifestyle series, Fashion Dis. It's a world's first makeover show to center disabled, style-seeking, and adaptive and inclusive fashion and beauty brands. She has a beautiful book and she has an amazing Instagram that is just so uplifting and so fun too. I can't wait for you to meet her. If you're we talk about her human design, which is amazing too. And if you want to get your human design too and find out what you are, you can grab that in the show notes and we can spend more time together too. You can find out the ways in the show notes. I can't wait for you to jump into this amazing show. And thank you so much for being here. All right, we'll see you inside the show. Take a breath. You've got this. Ardra, thank you so much for being on the show today. I'm so excited. When we met on Instagram, I just loved your take on MS. And as MS warriors, it can either go a way where people are talking about MS or a challenge where they're like, ooh, this in this deep, dark place, which, we all have been in. Or you can take it like what you do in this place of infusing your life and your joy and going after exactly what you want, no matter what is in front of you. And so I just love that connection.
Thank you so much for having me. I am excited to be here.
It's so great. Now, before we dive into your amazing story, we're going to do a little game that I do with all my guests, and it's pick your piece. Now, this is from my app, and this is from the page of interferers. And there are 12 interferers, and interferers are sabotaging cycles that we do over and over again. And I have an assessment that everybody can take where we can diagnose exactly, hey, which interferer is blocking our peace, our joy, our success. And you're going to choose a number between 1 and 12, and we're going to do that number. So what would you like?
4.
4. Okay.
Okay.
Is that, final answer 4?
Finally, I was just trying, my vision is so crappy. I was wondering if there was something I was supposed to see on the screen, but it's not. It's random, right?
No,
okay,
it's
4.
Random. Yeah, I have it randomized. So 4. Okay.
I was going to say 7, but I feel like everyone says 7, so I'm going to go with 4.
4 is great. Okay, 4 is the over-perfectionist. So that is a great one, right? That one, the over-perfectionist tells us things have to be perfect. They value perfection as a feature of safety and approval and as this high bar that no one can get to, but for some reason we should be able to. So I love this one. This is great. So all our friends, and it looks like you and I are sitting down so we can close down our eyes, and we're going to let the story begin. Taking a deep breath, inhaling and exhaling. There once was a woman who shaped clay every morning. Her hands were steady and skilled, but her heart was never satisfied. Each bowl she made, she examined it under the light, searching for what was wrong. A small wobble on the rim, a line that wasn't perfectly even, a tiny air bubble only she could see. Every time she sighed, she set the bowl aside and began a new one. Her shelves were filled with half-finished pieces, each one almost perfect, but never enough. One day, another potter, an older woman whose hands were worn with wisdom, came to visit. She noticed a small bowl sitting off to the side, cracked, uneven. She picked it up, poured water into it, and set it in the sunlight. The water began to spill gently through the crack, catching the light as it fell, and across the floor colors shimmered, pinks, golds, soft blues. The older woman smiled and said, "It is a crack that lets the light through. That is where the beauty lives." For a long moment, the potter just stared at the colors dancing across the floor. Then something inside of her softened. A breath she didn't know she had been holding finally released. She walked to her shelf and picked up one of her imperfect bowls. This time she didn't see the mistakes. She saw the character. She traced the uneven lines with her fingertips and noticed how they caught the light. How the story of her hands, her care, her effort, her humanity was told in that bowl. The moment she looked, she realized it was the very imperfections that made them beautiful. They were real, they were hers, and they were enough. From that day on, she stopped discarding her bowls. Her shelves filled not with perfection, but with peace. Each piece became a quiet reminder that beauty isn't something we achieve, it is something that we allow. How has striving for flawlessness kept you from peace, connection, or joy?
I mean, I feel like I want to fight you on this, Courtney.
Go for it.
Because honestly, I actually think that I have a pretty good balance of this, of striving for perfection as an artist.
Yes.
And being comfortable with good enough, move on in the things that are not important. So, as a writer, my favorite part is editing. The first draft sucks. The blank page is such a stereotypical, stressful situation. But
Yeah.
for me, like I got really good feedback from my publisher and my editor when I submitted my manuscript because there was so little for them to do. I had already edited the crap out of that thing. Like, but I love that, just like working it until you've said exactly what you mean, like the artistry in that. And I felt that also in a past life when I used to be a classical singer. Like, there are times when striving for perfection is I love the work, and I'm not the kind of person that it keeps me from, like, I'm not going to let the half finished bowls, like I will keep the work. But I also think I have come to appreciate the value of like making a half-assed dinner and like good enough, like can't think of the perfect gift. You're getting a gift card. Like it's, yeah. So there's like a balance for both, I would say.
Yeah, I was just watching a show about the Odyssey and how it was made and just what like achievements they've made. And I haven't seen it and I can't wait to go see it. But it's just like pushing ourselves, I think, is good. Also recognizing that what we're doing, what art we're creating, and whatever we're creating in our businesses is also really good as well. And we can have this kind of tone of pushing and also acknowledging the work that we're doing.
For sure. I mean, if anyone is taking their precious time and money to go see a movie or to read something that I wrote, I do want to make sure that it's worthwhile for them. So I think but I am also really comfortable with like, there's good and then there's good enough. And sometimes, you can't get in your own way. I don't think it's like the biggest problem for me. I don't know what my biggest problem is. I did that quiz for you, so you tell me.
So you were diagnosed with MS at 23, and you had a life before MS that was taking you to like your goals and your vision. Take us back to like pre-MS Ardra.
I mean, I was 23, so pre-MS Ardra, yes, I had like goals and dreams, but I also was unmoored. Like I felt like I had time, right, to make mistakes. And like I remember saying to my dad, much to his disappointment, that my priority at that time was to like have a good time. And I meant it, So suddenly being diagnosed with MS felt like a lot of doors and a lot of possibilities were slammed in my face. And in some ways, that was true, but it wasn't all at once. And in other ways, like there was a future ahead of me that I could not have imagined, that I would publish a book, that I would host a TV show. Like there are, a devastating diagnosis like MS can make you feel like all of your best days are behind you. And what I have learned is that it's really important to leave the room for the possibility that we don't know what the future holds, and that, there can be we're all going to have bad surprises, but, we're probably going to have some pretty good surprises too.
Yes. Yeah. And what was the hardest part of letting go the life you had planned before?
I don't think that I did that all at once. It's gradual. MS for me hit hard and aggressively at the start, but it would kind of like take and give back and take and give back, and then just keep taking without giving back. It's a process. It's an adaptation. And I do think it's like accelerated maturing and wisdom and prioritizing. Like that can be, I don't want to say it's like a gift of MS, because like I would trade this disease in a heartbeat.
Seriously.
But
yeah,
but if we're going to look at it, it's taught me some things that are helpful. It's made me more resilient.
Yeah. And I think about, so I was diagnosed in my 40s and I was like, thank goodness I was not diagnosed earlier, because this has been a road. And I look at myself and where I was going before this diagnosis. And I think we all have challenges that are pre what we were before and what we were after. And it really does help us to see the patterns that we were holding on to. And the goals that we had for life, you know? This was not the, you know, like spending hours in bed was not part of my life plan, you know?
Yeah. You know what's funny is like I have fewer available hours during the day as a lot of people, but like when I write down on paper the things that I've done and do, it is substantial. I will say as part of my reinvention, like when I was 23, I wanted to be an opera singer. That was what I dreamt of, my goal, my passion. I worked really hard for that. And MS did take that from me in some ways, there were many other factors like not enough opportunities in Canada. It's super competitive. I felt like I didn't have as much talent like naturally as a singer as I just like writing comes easier to me. But it was in assessing what I received from singing that helped me figure out that my next chapter could be writing or podcasting. You know, I thought about like, okay, I can't be a singer, but what do I love about singing? And I wrote it down, and it was like storytelling and art and an audience and being the center of attention and like sharing parts of myself. And then I made a list of like what other things could bring me those feelings. And then I ended up with a list that had like podcast, writing, blog, like I started a blog, and it just kind of worked out. So I think being intentional about like looking at the reasons why the things you love and then seeing if you can find them somewhere else can be really helpful.
Yes, that it's not the end of a road, it's just a different road to take. It's a different, yeah.
Yeah, and like how lucky to have more than one road anyway, right? Like if you're just doing the same thing, I feel really grateful and lucky that I got to sing for as long as I did, but now I get to do totally different other stuff, and it's also maybe even cooler. I never thought I'd say that.
Yeah. Well, it is. I think it's the lens of challenges that change our trajectory that really help us to see how another perspective. I think so oftentimes we get so busy in what we want to do that we can't see other dimensions of our lives that we're ignoring, you know? Was there like a specific moment where you had to kind of grieve who you were and this new version of yourself?
I'm really sorry, listeners, for the barking dog in the background. I don't know how aggressive that was.
No, it's great.
She's going a little bit crazy here. She just wants to chime in. Okay,
love
Courtney.
dogs. Yes.
Yeah. She's trying to steal some of the spotlight today. I'm so sorry. Can you just repeat that question quick and dirty for me?
Yeah, totally. So I think when we have challenges, when we all have challenges, right, that changes the trajectory of our lives, there's this grieving process of being sad and mad and wanting the life that we had and the trajectory that we thought we were going to go on, you know? What did that grieving process look like for you?
That is a really good question. And it is like a perpetual grief. It's something that you don't get over. You get over it multiple times. And and it comes up again and you grieve it again. MS is a disease that can feel like 50 different diseases. Like vision loss is not the same as problems with mobility, as dizziness, as whatever. Like MS is it's like getting multiple diseases and then this like euphoria that you can get with recovery. I want to be able to, I feel like you got to go through it to get through it, like grieve, and you can't live there, but like grieve and get on with it because this disease does suck and it does take things from us, and we are allowed to be pissy about that from time to time.
Yes, totally. Well, we were talking before we started recording that you went on a trip to Paris, and we were talking about how I went to Paris, but it was pre-MS. And even then I was like, oh my gosh, the city, you have to walk a lot. And I was exhausted by the end of the couple days. I was like, and then we went to the ocean side. And anyway, we got out of the city and I was like, oh my gosh, that was so exhausting. But I was like, think, and part of me thinks about like traveling. I think a lot about traveling with this disease and how that changes everything. And it kind of makes me mad sometimes too. I'm like, this is so frustrating.
I'll tell you what gets in the way.
Yeah.
I think is how we are all conditioned to fight through even the language we use, this warrior language, right? Like, don't let this disease change you. Don't let it stop you. You got to fight through. And so we don't live in a culture that encourages asking for help. And so the trip we were talking about in Paris, I was in Paris just this past April, far more disabled than I was in 2010 when I found myself at a park in the Marais, bawling my eyes out, feeling like if I can't be happy in Paris, I can't be happy anywhere. And it was because I had taken the subway up and down in the heat, walked all over the city, used all my energy getting to the places that I wanted to go, that I couldn't enjoy them when I was there. I could barely walk. Now when I travel, we factor that into the budget. Instead of going for 7 days, we go for 5. Instead of taking the subway, we're using that extra budget for Ubers. We're getting a comfortable hotel. We're recognizing the cost of the physical expenditure. We're putting a dollar value on that, and everyone is happier. My travels and trips are better for all of us because I don't need 2 hours to recover in the hotel before dinner. Just embrace the tools, embrace the mobility aids. That trip in 2010, when I look at the pictures, I remember that I'm hiding my cane in those photos, because there's so much stigma, and it's hard. And now I'm using really a transport chair, rollator, and we're enjoying traveling more. I love travel. It's not something I want to give up. So it's adapt or give it up. I'm going to adapt.
Yes, I'm going to adapt. And I think that's the part about asking for help is really a critical skill. That's something that I've had to really work on too, is I can ask for help, and it's okay to ask for help. And it's okay to kind of show up in this messy way, If I'm feeling sick, which is all the time, I don't have to push through this meal to go to have this great experience, because we're going to have it. We're in a beautiful place. It's going to be okay. So my husband and I took a trip last year. We went to outside of Miami, and he's like, hey, I was looking for hotels, but I want a hotel that's really like a resort, that's really nice. And he found one. And the one he found was, when I was laying in bed, the view was of the ocean, and I could see everybody in their boats and driving along. And I was like, this is the way to do it. This is that.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
That's so smart, because when you are stuck in the hotel, you still want to feel like you're on vacation, right?
Yes.
And that is my travel philosophy. Spend whatever you can on the nicest, get the nicest hotel that you can afford, because you're going to be spending some time there and you don't want to feel bummed out by it.
Yeah, totally. It was the best. I was like, I love laying in bed looking at the ocean. This is so great. This was amazing.
Honestly,
but
that's the dream.
Yeah. And I had to and I told him, I was like, thank you for doing that. And I think building that support in our lives, from whatever challenge that we're going through, takes vocalization of this is what I need. This is what I would like. And not being afraid to ask for that help and have those people that support you.
I think the people in our lives, I know for sure in my life, husband, if you're listening, can help us with that by also not, valorizing independence themselves. Ask us for help. Don't, I'm not going to help you move, but there's stuff I can do. Help, ask me for help. Don't take that away from me as your friend or support person. Or I think we need to revalue interdependence culturally, so that we're not just independence should be neutral. I think it's not the be all and end all. And even in medical contexts, there's all this talk of we need to prioritize independence for patients. And it's I get it. Of course, we all want to be able to do things by ourselves, but even just the language that we use, I think it would be more helpful to say, how can we provide patients with agency so that independence again is like seen as neutral and we all like realize we are all connected. We all need each other to like, get through and
Yes, we all
yeah.
need, we need each other. And that is a skill set. And two, I use mobility aids when I'm traveling, like for airports and stuff like that. Sometimes there will be a backlog of wheelchair pushers,
Yeah.
And so my kids
always, sometimes.
Yes, I know, right? My kids or my husband will like end up pushing me. It's been the funnest thing to have them push me through airports and like have that moment together. And they're always like, I love it that you're in a wheelchair because we get to board first. Like, I mean,
honestly, but really like that is such a great point because that is a really clear example of choosing how to feel about something. Right? Like you can just feel so demoralized, especially at the airport where they treat you like luggage if you're getting wheelchair assistance, but like seeing it as like the VIP front of the line, like I always feel like, wow, we're going to the front of the line. I'm already sitting down. Like, I could wait in line. But yeah, that's like, I think a really good example of choosing how to feel about things. And it's not easy because culturally, we have stigmatized mobility aids so much, and it becomes a big barrier to people embracing them and using them. And it can mean the difference between living your life and participating and deciding to just not even go in the first place.
Yes. And really, it's that support. Again, it kind of goes back to the support. Like if our bodies need a certain support, whether it's a mobility aid or it's something else, like it's a therapist or it's medication, whatever it is.
Yeah.
We should be able to ask for that support and not feel bad about it and be treated and feel like we're the same. Like when I'm going through airports, I'm like, oh gosh, I just, there's part of me that's like, oh, I feel kind of dumb. But then I'm like, no, this is what I need. I should ask for what I need.
Yeah. I mean, I also sometimes think of it as eyeglasses. It's the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Like they help you see just the way a mobility aid helps you get from point A to point B. And it even extends beyond the practical. Like if you got to buy a pair of eyeglasses to help you see, you have like 4 million options that fit with your style and your vibe. And we need more stylish options for mobility aids. It is a thing that is attached to you. It's part of your style. It's part of your aesthetic. It doesn't need to look clunky and medical. We can do better. And I think like for me, finding those implements that feel like kind of youngish and, like functional and cool, it's like, it has helped me a lot in embracing these tools and trying to like put out the image of what I want to see, because when I was going through it, I couldn't find anyone, like any examples of people who looked like me. And this was like maybe like 2017. And when I started to need mobility aids and people on the street would stop me and say like, what happened to you? What's wrong with you? And that's like a bummer when you're just going about your day for somebody to be like, what's wrong with you? Like it's very rude, but also just knowing that that's like the message you're sending with your look. I think we can do better.
I totally agree. I always feel better when like I take a shower and I get dressed and I'm not doing it for anyone else. I'm doing it for me. And I think those aids really make a difference, What has surprised you the most about the life you've built since being diagnosed?
I would say 2 things. Like, again, that not all my best days were behind me. And also that a difficult life doesn't have to be a joyless life. Like, that was really surprising for me, even though when I say it out loud, I'm like, well, duh, because everyone's life is difficult. Like life is terrible for everyone, basically. So, but we all still have joy and full lives. It's like not my fault that I didn't believe that. It's because we weren't shown that. We don't see it, right? When we just like put people with disabilities out during whatever their like awareness month is and make them look sad so that we can get charitable donations, then of course that's all we're going to think is that people with disabilities have sad, tragic lives. And like, that's why I think storytelling is so important, so that we can see that like, we're all just the same. We're all just like, we all have different struggles and like some version of the same, and we all have joy and like love, and like we contain multitudes.
Yes, we do. So how do you bring in joy when you're feeling so much darkness or you're having a really hard day? What do you do?
I mean, I don't always. Sometimes I'm like a miserable bee, but I do love silly dog videos on right? Like that will help me laugh. Yeah, or just like watching something funny. I also really, really think that a diagnosis should come with a puppy. Like, I think despite my barking dog, that they are medicine. But in the same vein of like, it's really important relationships, like nurture and cultivate those relationships, friendships, family. I love being an aunt. I have great friends. Like, invest in that stuff, because that's and invest in a sense of purpose. Like, that's also, I think, and that can be anything, you know, like historically, again, in this like productivity culture, a big part of identity is like, what do you do? What's your job? And we think of that as a sense of purpose, and it can be, but I would caution you against making it should never be your only one. And it's not, it never is, but we don't always see it that way. And so for me, I feel like writing down all of the identities that I have was helpful, whether it was like dog mom, scrapbooker, traveler, aunt, author, fashion lover, all these things, and kind of valuing them equally with the understanding that MS can take some of these. But if you have a whole list and MS takes something, your sense of self is not as rattled when you have this recognition of all of your identities.
Yes. I think, too, going back to the connection with people, I think during challenges and especially for me with MS, I have thought, well, I don't know if my friends, because I can only, handle so many hours of hanging out, or go, or like I'm limited in what we do, I'm like, oh, I'm not really the best friend to have right now, or I don't have a lot of potential with me, So, but I think that's dispelling that in my brain is like, wait a second, I actually do. Like, I'm a really good, let's have a conversation on the phone. I'll send you a great text.
Yep.
I would love to meet up really close to my home for lunch, type of thing.
Yep.
And I think that, of course, we go to what we're not doing good at. And I think this is kind of where that perfectionism comes in. We go to, oh, what am I not doing good at? And then that means I can't be qualified to do this thing, where it's not the truth.
I actually read Martin Short's memoir like years ago, and I loved it because he gave himself like a report card, I think every month or something. And he had like 10 sections. I'm probably not getting this totally right, but it was like he would score himself on like career, family, friendship, health. And he would, okay, well, maybe I'm getting like a D in career right now, but I'm an A in family. And I really liked that. And also just like seeing how there's going to be cycles for everything. Like sometimes you're going to be killing it maybe at your career, and other times you're going to be like an awesome wife. And sometimes like you're like not making dinner because you're whatever. I think it's just like, and the book is interesting to me because they all kind of had equal weight. And I think we give too much weight to work.
Yes.
In our culture, when really it's so cliche, but it's the people and the relationships, and that's really what matters.
Yes, it does. I love that. And I love the ebb, the flow of, seasonally, we can be on point in one section and another, but it is seasonal.
And like think of it all, not just the stuff you're sucking at right now. I sucked at physio like 2 years ago. Man, and I was feeling really bad about it. I know that exercise is a DMT, and I dropped the ball. But, it was a time when, like, I was writing a book, and, like, other stuff became more important. And now I'm back on track with physio. I'm really proud of that. But, it's like, you can't be awesome at everything all the time. I don't care if you have MS or not.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And we get so hard on ourselves. We're so hard on ourselves for the things that we're not good at in that moment. And it is a challenge to change our brains. One of the ways that I love to change my brain is through human design. And so all our friends listening, let's make sure we're on the same page. Human design is like a personality test. If you love Enneagram, Strength Finders, you love like learning about yourself, this is totally it. And I love it because it really shares the gifts that we're born with. How do we make decisions best? What are the characteristics that we have that make us shine, not just something cool we do here and there? One of the things that really stood out to me is how you make decisions best. And that is through your gut. Your gut is this authority through your body that you can be, it's your decision center. It's your truth teller. It's coming from inside of your body that's saying, yes, let's go in that direction. And then unsettled, a no feels kind of like, oh, I should do this. It's a responsibility. Or sometimes your mind can get into it and be like, analyze things and be like, I should do it this way because on paper, the pro-con list looks better for this one. But your inside, your gut is saying, no, we need to go in this direction. So
I think I'm impulsive, and I think that it has served me sometimes and not all the time. And also, I feel like in terms of MS, it is interesting because there's so much disruption with like neurogenic bowel is a common symptom. It ails me. We are starting, there's like a lot of research now out on like gut microbiome and like the bacteria being different in MS. And maybe I'm getting really hippie skippy now, but I feel like I almost always have a stomach ache, and that I don't know if trusting my gut is always the right way to go, right?
Well, yeah. Well, and it's learning to trust that inside feeling and listening, right? When we're listening to our bodies, it takes some time. And because your human design type is a generator, so you're like this energizer bunny, you're like, let's go. And so oftentimes when you're in the let's go, it's hard to listen. You're just kind of going from one thing to the next to the next.
Well, and also it's like having this energizer, creative, wanting to do stuff, like type A brain in a passive aggressive body. It's like the body is thwarting me.
Yes, it totally is. I have realized that I never listened to my body before I was diagnosed. I would just go out there and I would go to a workout class. I would have to hit like a certain like level of I'm going to almost throw up before I can leave this class, or I haven't done enough, But now my workouts, I lift weights. I've been doing swimming, and it has been so amazing because in swimming, the idea is not to just crush the water and push harder. The idea is actually to look at your technique. How is my hand going into the water? What's my pull like? What is my elbow doing? And that's how you get faster. And I feel like it's so much with MS too. It's like, wait, I don't have to push
100%.
faster. I can be more efficient. I can listen.
It's also like there's a lot, I think some like water analogies in there too of just going with the flow, right? And like adapting and just like letting it carry you because it will, right? It's like harder to navigate water if you're fighting it, I think.
Yes. Yeah. And helping me to learn to trust my body even more. And I think that's what how you make decisions best is to listen and to go inside your body and to start trusting those inner yeses that feel sparkly, that feel energized, that are getting you excited.
That part, I think, is not the hard part for me. I feel like if we want to go really deep, it's like I would actually love to make fewer decisions because, like eldest, firstborn daughter vibes over here. And I think like for me, it's kind of natural to slide into like manager role in so many contexts in my life. But like decision fatigue is real and like fatigue is real. And like it would just be nice, I think, to sometimes not have to actually make so many decisions.
Yes. And and that again is really trusting the process and trusting your
trusting
journey.
other people. And I don't
Yes.
do that. When you're like, I could do this better, Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah. It is giving up that control. And that is actually one of your interferer patterns, is controlling things. And so
it works for me.
it's really great. Well, one other part on your human design that stood out to me is there's characteristics, and they're called gates. Now, gates are characteristics that we have. Sometimes we think, oh, okay, this is just what I do. But when we kind of change the framework of how we think about the cool things that we do, like, I was born to do life like this. I was born to show up in this way. And so this gate is gate 58, and is you create and share joy. You don't just experience joy, you want to share it with others in a way that's genuinely contagious. Like, this comes from a place of humor and joy and vitality and aliveness that you bring. How are you bringing that and keeping that beautiful gift alive when there's so much challenge and heaviness just in your body, and physically and emotionally and mentally and all those things?
First of all, I love that you've identified this in me somehow. It feels very flattering. Thank you. But I also feel like this is something that a lot of women do, right? Like, we are the holiday planners, the trip planners, the people that remember everybody's birthday and invest in those things, because it's not about gifts, it's not about the meal, like the food or the party or whatever. It's like, I really feel like these times we come together and celebrate and party are remind us of that we have this team of support. And we create these memories of that, whether they're conscious or not. It gives you this feeling, just knowing that there's this a community of people that are rooting for you. And so, I mean, I don't know, I'm an experienced person. I feel like I do want to experience life, and I do prioritize that way more than making money or saving money or having a big house or a fancy car. I want to travel. I want to hang out with my nieces and my friends, my nephews, and even my parents. Hi, Mom.
Yes. And it takes,
what I mean?
Yeah. And it takes intention to do that,
it does. Yeah.
Yes.
Honestly, just getting a group of people to go out for dinner and figuring out the accessible restaurant and all this stuff. And it also, I think this is actually a really good point for people with MS or anything, that I felt, in those dark moments of I don't contribute as much. I'm not doing the laundry. I'm not cooking dinner. I'm barely scraping by. But we don't value so much of the work that women especially do in maintaining the relationships. It is good for my partner that the kids get good gifts on their, that's an investment in those relationships. And it's, I make sure I get the cards and the gifts, and we don't think of them as labor, and I enjoy doing it, but it is time consuming, and it takes energy, and it takes thoughtfulness. And honestly, it's probably more important than the laundry or the dishes.
Yes. I almost think it's we get to see the wins that we're doing and celebrate those wins, whereas human nature is oh, we're looking at what we're lacking. But we can really change that vision and be wait, what am I doing? I almost think after this, I should put together a win list of things that I'm actually doing and remind myself when I go to, that negative space of, you're not doing this,
Yeah. You know what I love is, I don't know if it's on Android, but I have an iPhone. The journal app. It's because it's so easy. You can put a little voice memo, you can put photos, you can write one sentence. And when I have a day where I think I didn't do anything, it's actually really helpful to be I talked to my mom for an hour today. That's valuable,
Yes, that's huge. That is huge. Well, we talk a lot in with the ROI in business, right? It's about measurable markers and metrics and KPI, all these things. But the ROI piece has its own indicators of clarity, resilience, joy, alignment. which area of your life are you asking for more peace right now, personally or professionally? And then what specifically would that look like in your daily life?
Oh, gosh. I think actually we're kind of in a real estate purgatory right now. Like the market is terrible. We're like trying to sell our place and find like more adaptive housing or like barrier-free housing is kind of a thing. And we're in this real purgatory right now. And I feel actually weirdly chill about it. Like it is not a good situation, but I know it's out of my control. And like, I also feel like we're not going to be homeless. It's going to work out somehow. And so I'm not giving myself future problems. So, and I'm trying to be supportive of my husband, who is also finding this really, really stressful. In terms of like physically, I really need to get my stomach issues sorted out with MS. And it's really, really frustrating because I've seen so many specialists and like the amount of time and labor again and hours that we go into like managing this illness is so unfair. Even I've just been fitted for new orthotics and I did the math. It's taken me 9 hours already in appointments and travel time to get this figured out and they're still not right. Like I have to go back again and get them fitted again. And it's just, it's you just have to accept it. But I don't even know what my point is.
It's managing the peace, even when what is in the future feels stressful and feels like, how are we going to get to the end of this? It's managing like we felt this way. And so we're going to figure it out. We're going to get there. And it will all work out in our favor, So, Ardra, this has been so amazing to have you on. I've loved every moment. This has been great.
Thank you. It has been fun.
It's been great. I know that our friends, everybody listening all over the world, want to get in touch with you, get connected with you. How do they do that?
Well, you can, Tripping on Air, if you Google that all roads lead, Tripping on Air lead to me, I think. You can find me on Instagram, ms_Tripping on Air. Tripping on Air podcast is like available wherever you get your pods. That one I think is interesting because I co-host it with my friend Alex, whose wife has MS. So it's really a conversation about a lot of the times like the patient perspective, but also the partner perspective. And then the thing that I would be most grateful for is if you want to check out my book, which just came out. It's called Philosophy, Phallosophy, which is a memoir about living with MS. I hope it's funny. And it's available everywhere that you get books, but also on e-reader and audio and even in large print. We really wanted to make sure it was accessible.
That's amazing in large print. I love that. Oh, that's so wonderful. Everybody become friends with Ardra. You guys need to get in her world, get her book, get all the things. And this has been so wonderful. Again, thank you so much for being on the show.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for having me. I'm glad we've like finally nailed down this date and time.
Yes, it was amazing. We're here. We did it.
We did it.
And listeners, our friends, thank you so much for listening. I really love your comments and your views and being a part of this show with us. If you haven't already, follow and rate the podcast so you never miss an episode. And remember that peace is the most profitable thing you'll ever invest in. We'll see you next time.